That is mysterious. I wonder why it's doing that. Alright. Let's see if this works. I need to take more steps back. I do need to get rid of these headphones, though. Because otherwise I can't do anything. Alright. Wait. Okay, I'm going to take more paces back from this TV. This is going to be a real interesting setup. Alright, let's see if this works.
How could anyone do this?
Alright, that looks like it's doing fine.
Gee,
So, just soak in the voice acting. Just soak it in.
underestimate the enemy. James, take this. Harry and Amy are coming to back us up. Hurry, go. Thanks, G. No, no. I don't want to die.
So I'm going to be focusing just a little bit on actually shooting. It's going to be especially awful in, it's going to be especially awful in the Typing of the Dead when I have to focus a little bit more on typing.
There was nothing we could do.
Okay, well, this isn't as bad.
Gee, bloodstains.
Well, can't really fault myself for at least trying a bit. I'm trying my hardest to, you know, survive and everything. It's not exactly easy because of how the Wii remote is. Well, I'm doing real good with saving people, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, just shoot that guy. That's the weakness. As long as you shoot him, you'll be fine. But he has, like, really strange invincibility, except in really specific circumstances. Which is usually when he has, like, call-outs and everything. But you can easily tell when it is. It's usually when he stops being all fly-y and everything. He stops flying around so much. Or when he gets really close to you. There you go. That's just, you. There we go.
James! Amy! Harry!
Thank God you're alive.
What the hell's going on in this city?
Don't know, but it's very similar to the 1998 Kyrian case.
That case?
James, go and prevent the confusion in the city.
Okay.
Let's meet at Sunset Bridge. We're counting on you, James.
No more fooling around.
So the gimmick about this entire thing is that if you can rescue everyone, or if you like rescue everyone but one person, you get a health boost.
Dogs of the AMS. Time they made a move.
No! Help me! Need to hurry. What?
Thank you for rescuing me.
Also, for some reason, the attacks aren't able to be changed in the color. It's always going to be like muddy for some reason. But the blood you can actually change from green to red at any time. So, I think there's also a blue option? I can't remember. And killer owls, just because.
Help me! Help me! Thank you for rescuing me.
No! What?
Trying to like focus on two different things at once, you know.
My dad's still inside.
Yeah, that was really close.
I'll get him out.
Okay, whoop.
Help me! Help!
Whoop, well.
We're flying right over the Sunset Bridge. Something or someone has. Take it. City.
Need to hurry.
Well, I opened up this path at least. Now, the interesting thing about House of the Dead 2 is that it's actually probably one of the most familiar House of the Dead games, even though it's considered one of the worst, due to its voice acting. And due to its infamous difficulty curve. The reason why it's such an infamous game for its difficulty curve is that the last level is a boss rush with a 3-phase final boss fight. And the final boss fight itself has several undodgeable attacks that you literally just have to mash the trigger and hope that you get a frame right, or get in a shot that actually nullifies the attack. So it's basically bringing this entire thing back to its roots of being just a quarter-eater arcade game, which is what House of the Dead 1 was as well.
How could anyone do this?
It's also the same for House of the Dead 3, which also had the same issue. I can't say the same for House of the Dead 4, because they made that a lot easier.
Well, it's about that. It seems like gold.
Wait, we'll talk later.
Fun fact about House of the Dead 2 also. You might have seen on the... you might have seen in the schedule earlier that I have House of the Dead Overkill set as well for the next game after this set. And House of the Dead 2 had a re-release on the Dreamcast and also an arcade version. There was an arcade version of this, of the Typing of the Dead, and it is easily one of the most familiar pop culture typing games out there. It's a very cult classic game due to the fact that it's just such a ridiculous concept that works. And it's very popular with fans of the House of the Dead series for that reason. The House of the Dead, the Typing of the Dead, I mean, has a PC version and a Dreamcast version. And the Dreamcast version is unique from the PC version because in the Dreamcast version, both characters have keyboards on them. And these keyboards are attached to a Dreamcast in the Dreamcast version and batteries in the PC version, or any other version, really. And that's what makes it interesting.
Don't care who it is, no one's gonna get away with this.
It's been a while, hasn't it? My friends from the AMS. It's me, Goldman.
It is a shame that Typing of the Dead Overkill isn't as intensive in the ridiculousness. It almost seems like the Typing of the Dead was built around just the ridiculousness
We have to stop him.
of the House of the Dead too,
Back me up.
and they just made it more crazy. But the Typing of the Dead Overkill is very fun.
Are you alright, James? Yeah, I'm hanging on.
The Typing of the Dead Overkill is also one of the most complete collections of the Typing of the Dead Overkill, because it has... Damn it, Owl.
Help me!
It has,
Thanks
several...
for saving me.
It has several differences. The Typing of the Dead Overkill got a iOS release after the Wii release. And the iOS had 4 extra missions in it. In fact, it was called The Lost Tapes, I think. And The Lost Tapes...
How could anyone do this?
And The Lost Tapes were 4 episodes.
It seems that
And
Goldman left a
then
message for
the
us.
PlayStation Move released,
Goldman?
and the PS3 got a...
On the north side of the city.
The PS3 got a release called The House of the Dead Overkill Director's Cut,
We'll go from the left.
which basically added the 4 episodes that came from the Lost Tapes, and those 4 Lost Tapes episodes were at the 5 main episodes from in-game, and then put all together into that, with no difference in the overall gameplay approach. And the Director's Cut package is what we got in the Typing of the Dead Overkill. And the Typing of the Dead Overkill not only added a complete version of that, but also added online multiplayer,
James.
and the Typing of the Dead Overkill, which means that the entire game is now playable with keyboard, or with typing, with typing words to kill all of the enemies on the board, along with the original intention of the game, which is, point and shoot. But it's a lot stranger because, it's a PC game. There's no intended way to use motion control, so you can use mouse,
My friend went inside.
or you can use a gamepad, like a Xbox 360 controller. And I'm sure it's possible to figure out some way to do motion control. It is possible, as long as you have some kind of infrared device. But for now, the best way to play it is through the Typing of the Dead. You have more options. I have to focus quite a little bit just to get this going. There we go. Anyways, it's not too hard to find the Typing of the Dead Classic, which is, again, House of the Dead 2. As long as you know somebody who has the PC version, you can probably get it. I don't really know any other options to get it from, but I know that it is really readily available through piracy, because the game is no longer supported by Sega. Currently, the Typing of the Dead Overkill is. I'm not going to talk about anything about the piracy, because I don't want to delve too deeply into that.
James,
James, come quickly! Something terrible is happening!
Amy? What happened, Amy?
I don't know what else to say on that subject. It's just, you know, if you want to pick up the Typing of the Dead Overkill, then do so with the intention that you're going to be playing it
Everything's set.
with the
All we
typing
need to do is wait.
in mind. Shooting with a mouse is still pretty fun, but it's not the same as like traditional on-rail shooters would be. So if you're gonna go with a traditional on-rail shooter experience, I would recommend either finding a Wii copy of the Typing of the Dead Overkill, or the House of the Dead Overkill, or if you're really willing to spend the money and get a PlayStation Move, or if you have one already, get the die, all of you. Anyways, get the director's cut on PS3. The difference between the director's cut, besides extra content, is that the Wii version has loading screen transitions for every stage. So every stage
My God.
has 2 sections, and each of them has a loading transition between them. But the director's cut and Typing of the Dead Overkill, they both completely remove this loading screen. So every episode is just one
Is this the
big stage,
Coliseum?
and that's a big plus. But if you can't afford it, which is I think $20 on the PS3, and I think it's like, I don't know if they have plans on doing that Wii digital thing for Wii U, but if it does, then I would pick it up then. But otherwise,
People of the AMS, I am Goldman. I don't care if you people try to get in my way or not. In time you'll find out who's right. This is a present from me to you.
Look, at your right.
hello.
Amy! Harry!
Well, friends, I look forward to meeting you people again.
So this is an interesting boss. So the weak spot is the head, but the problem is that he has a giant chainsaw covering his head for most of the fight. So now my intention is to just shoot when I feel like I can get a few good shots off. And as you're noticing, I'm able to get quite a few good shots off at once, as long as I have the weak point available to me. You can basically take off a third of his health if you just spam the trigger, which is what I'm doing. I have a really good trigger finger for this kind of thing. for arcade games like this, so I'm just really easily able to just mash and get it over with. Usually that boss fight takes a long time.
Amy, Harry, are you all right?
I'm all right. But Harry's...
No! James! The car's parked in the city square. The top floor. Building at point A0063. He's there. Go, James! Thanks, Harry. Goldman, I'm not gonna let you get away with this.
So yeah, that's the wonderful voice acting at work. Completely devoid of the situation, all of them. Now, you're noticing, this is actually the second to last stage.
Our Emperor shall awaken soon.
This stage
Hurry, friend.
is the boss rush. So we're going to be fighting all 4 of the bosses that we fought already in quick succession with a brand new boss at the end.
Point A
And
0063
those 11 credits I have still,
It's too quiet.
those are going to go away real quickly once we hit the final boss, because that's when things start getting a little crazy. I don't know what a bass lure is. I don't know what it's for. Original mode is what we're playing on, by the way. And it allows you to randomly pick items that you can use. So you can choose to have extra bullets in your chamber for your gun. You can also choose to have extra life at the start of the game, extra credits, which is, I picked plus 10 credits for this entire thing. You can also choose to have Amy as your costume or a civilian as your costume instead of the main character. You can also choose to have a shotgun, which is the item from the House of the Dead 3, because, again, we're playing on the Wii version of this, which has both versions available at the same time, so they did a crossover deal, which is really interesting for them to have done, I'd think. They basically made an entire kind of metagame out of the original mode. Yeah, there's 2 modes, original mode and arcade mode. Arcade mode is the original intention of the game, which is a quarter-eating annoyance. And the original mode is one where you can just pick up tons of wacky items and everything. The bass lure is actually from Sega Bass Fishing. And Sega Bass Fishing is just crazy. Or it's like, sorry, I'm thinking way off topic right now. I'm trying to think of like 5 things at once. Sega Bass Fishing is, damn it. Sega Bass Fishing is also from Sega, naturally. And the House of the Dead is a Sega published game. So naturally there's a bit of a crossover with this. I don't know what the bass lure does though.
Remember, there's no such thing as a second chance.
Back off. Okay, here we go again. Yep, always a difficult one. This is probably one of the easiest bosses too, sadly. It's just, you know, really hard to hit the weak spot whenever he does the upper launch thing.
Too bad. You're better off that way.
Yeah, there we go. 10 extra credits. Why not? Well, I mean, those are also things that we can use in other games. We can't use them right now, only in a future game. So, 10 extra credits later.
Prepare yourself, Goldman.
This is actually me using my dominant hand to pull the trigger, instead of having it in one hand and then pulling the trigger with the other.
What?
Anyways, here is that
Can't
new
be.
boss.
You're...
I've been waiting for this time to come. You have no future. Either I get you, or the Emperor will. Either way, your fate is in our hands.
Okay, so he has no given weakness except for the glowing parts on his body, but at the same time he's shooting just a metric ton of things at us. And we just have to keep shooting and try to attack everything. I don't know what else to say about him. He's just an annoyance. Everything about this boss is a quarter eater. Like, I'm actually really trying to keep my rhythm of shooting. This wouldn't be too bad if I were typing, to be fair. Or if I had a shotgun. You're noticing how slow his health is going down, by the way. Well, there we go, that was a good one. Jesus. That was harder than it should have been on my arm.
Only man himself can control its fate. You're nothing.
At last, you've come. Friends, the door of fate shall open.
All right. So this is where we realize that they're not really zombies, but just genetically modified somethings. I don't know. The whole story for this thing is just off the wall. Like, I have none. Okay, Power Up 2.0 means that our bullets do double damage. But we don't get it right now, we just get the upgrade. Again, because if we were to get upgrades in the middle of a mission, then that would make each playthrough like really easy on original. You're just kind of stuck with whatever you use. Although to be fair, Power Up 2.0 plus credits plus 10 doesn't exactly sound like it's going to be much of a issue trying to play through it. I'm just trying to survive, you know.
What is this place?
Oh, here we go again. Thought we forgot about you? Again, we have to deal with every single boss. So we have this boss to deal with and Mr. Chainsaw. But I think we're not going to make it to the final boss at this rate. There, Jesus. Alright. Now we just have the snake. No, wait, no. The snake doesn't part off this time. Just Mr. Chainsaw next. And then the final boss. Go figure. A couple of these things look like RoboCop. This is also the longest level in the game. You have several different levels.
I've been waiting for you, friends.
Goldman, do you know what you're doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. Can't you see? Man committed a sin, disturbing the life cycle of nature. The original sin that man is responsible to. To protect the life cycle, I have made a creature to rule over mankind. This is the final battle. Show yourself, our new ruler, the Emperor.
Oh no, we just completely skipped the chainsaw fight. Interesting. I remember fighting the chainsaw guy in the arcade mode, I guess. Anyways, say hello to Quarter Eater.
I shall destroy and hate mankind. I am the Emperor.
Alright, so his weak point is unknown even though it's his chest, but you cannot shoot anything during his initial, like the initial 7 phases. And he has several different ways to attack, and none of them are able to be beaten. But the thing is like I said, on original mode, things are so much easier than they are on the arcade, because you don't get the boosters. So, I've lost like maybe 15 credits or something this entire time. You know, I have the plus 10 credits, so like, I think 3 credits plus the 10 I have. I had 5 credits. The max amount of credits you can have in arcade mode is like 5. So you literally just have no room for error. You have to like play almost perfectly, and original mode is actually a really good way to train up and get ready for that. And the thing is like, he brings out every single form you could possibly think of, and you have to counter them all while trying to attack them. So again, really challenging boss. At least we're making a dent in his health. Trying my hardest to keep my momentum going for pressing the button, for shooting. It's that erratic pattern that thing creates that I just can't get. Okay, here comes the final form. Shoot the core, shoot the core. Come on. Okay, I lost my momentum.
I am.
Goldman,
Friends, it is not over yet.
is that all you have to say?
In time, a successor will come. Farewell, friends.
again, another interesting fact about that is that that final scene right there, you could have three
It's finally
possible choices of that ending,
Goldman,
and
I don't
a
care
couple
if
of
the
them,
successor comes or not.
and a lot of the
I'll go
other
on fighting.
endings like that. One of them is like
As
he
long
bounces
as we
back
have
up
the
on a
will to
trampoline and he
live.
comes back, and and you
Goodbye,
get that
Goldman.
one. But the trampoline one only happens in the Typing of the Dead. So there you go. I feel really sick right now. I was not ready to stream. I am not ready to stream. So that was the Typing of the Dead. Not the Typing. God damn it! Fuck it. The House of the Dead too. I'm sorry I couldn't do much more, but I just can't. I just can't go any longer, otherwise I'm gonna throw up. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Jesus. That is not a good feeling. Ugh.
Thank you.
Look at that, all the civilians we saved. Ugh. Okay, that's all for me. I guess I'll see you guys later.